Welcome back live. We continue right here in the studios of CW. It's 412-575-2600. That's the number on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. We also have tweets tonight. And Jason Albert has tweeted me at KD Pomp. He says, James Franklin was right. Beating Pitt is the same as beating Akron. I didn't like that comment then, and I still don't like it. It's a rivalry. Pitt beat them last year and arguably, cost them a chance of playing in a playoff. So you can say whatever he wants to say. I didn't think it was the right comment to make, and I still believe that. Let's go to the lines. We'll begin with Joe in Gallitzin. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Bob. How are you tonight?
Just great. Thanks for calling.
Good. You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to talk to one of the prominent people in sports in Pittsburgh.
You're very kind. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Bob, I'll ask you a couple little things here, and I want to make a comment if I can real quick. I'm a Penn State fan. I'm not going to deny that. I like all the pro teams in Pittsburgh. But I agree with you. I think that Penn State-Pitt game should be played every year, albeit it would have to be played early in the season with the conference and stuff. But I don't think that rivalry should die. And also, real quick, nice win by the Pens. Glad to see that. And if I can just make a brief comment.
Sure.
Okay. It was out the day, and everywhere I've gone in the last couple weeks, I haven't seen many people wearing Steeler paraphernalia, okay? I personally think the NFL might be in trouble. And I know your producer told me not to say anything on the thing, but...
No, I disagree with that, and I'll tell you why. And thank you for the call, Joe. Appreciate
You're welcome,
that. You'll see a lot of people in black and gold Steeler gear tomorrow, but Thursday night ratings are up 26% from last year this time to this year this time. They've had some pretty decent games, but they're up 26% for a lot of different reasons. Overall, ratings are down slightly. I get that. But I think at time you're going to see it's still the most watched sporting event going on. And I like the fact that it's mostly on Sundays. You get a game on Monday and one on Thursday, but mostly it is Sunday. And everyone seems to make way for the NFL on Sunday, and that's a good thing. Sometimes I think we can oversaturate ourselves with sports. You look college football, every day of the week it's on, and on Fridays and Saturdays you have multiple games. Saturdays it's just nonstop on every channel. I think you lessen the importance of some of these games because there's so many of them. So the NFL has a right, and people will still watch. You can have your politics and sports if you want it. I don't like it. I don't think they mix, but that's how some people are. Let's go out to Brad in Duncansville. Hey, Brad.
Hi, Bob. How are you, buddy?
Thank you for calling, Brad. What's going on?
Nothing much. I have two Penguin comments and my Steelers score for you tomorrow.
All right, go ahead.
My Steelers score tomorrow is going to be 34-17, Steelers. And my Penguin comments are, I think the Penguins played a lot better and stronger, and I also like Ryan Reeves. What do you think? I
think Ryan Reeves, right off the bat, it took a couple of games, but now third game, he's already become a fan favorite. And he's done, late in the game, he's skating on a wing with Sidney Crosby because of what was going on out there. Hartnell came up high on a stick, got Crosby in the helmet area. I don't think it was intentional, but still, Reeves is out there to deter that from happening. Hartnell wanted no part of him. And you saw Watson go after him a couple of times. Watson's bigger than Reeves, but I thought Reeves got the best of him twice. And then he throws in a goal to boot. So he was the #1 star of the game here tonight. You're going to like Ryan Reeves. And I think a lot of times you look at what they gave up, a #1 pick for him. That might be a bit of a stretch, but I think Jim Rutherford still looks at this window being open, and it was an element that he needed for this team. So I think you're going to see his presence felt on a nightly basis. And ultimately, it will stop people from taking shots on their superstars, which is what Rutherford has been trying to do. Let's go to Mike in Johnstown. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good. How you doing tonight?
All right. What's up?
My question is the game with, as far as the Steelers and the Jaguars go, I remember back in the days when they used to play Jacksonville twice. Do you kind of see when they play Jacksonville kind of like a little rivalry in a way?
Not at all. I mean, Jacksonville's won their share, but no, I don't look at it that way. Although, you look back, I think it was, what year was it in Three River Stadium when Fred Taylor ran for 234 yards, I think it was, against the Pittsburgh Steelers in one of those games. He was a terrific running back, and they had some good rivalries. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Tomlin's, I got to double check this, but if my mind does not deceive me here, Mike Tomlin's first playoff game was at home against Jacksonville back in 2007, and it was one they lost. And there was a controversial, I think, 2-point play, penalty involved, and he ended up going for it nonetheless. I think that comes to mind. So to me, it's not a rivalry. They don't play enough to be a rivalry. But at one time, they did see each other twice a year. But I don't look at it that way. One more call before we go to break here, and let's go out to John at Green Tree. Hey, John.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guy. How you doing tonight?
All right, go ahead.
The Steelers are playing in Jacksonville tomorrow, man. Do you think we can beat Jacksonville tomorrow? Thanks very much. And good win by the Penguins, man. Good win by the Penguins. Bob.
All right, John. Yeah, they can win. I think they will win something like 35-21. By the way, a new name on that list is Martavis Bryant. He's on the injured list now, questionable because of an illness that came up late this week. So hopefully he'll be able to play, but at this point he is questionable, which indicates that he's probably not going to play if it started right now. But who knows by tomorrow, but that's not a good sign. One more call here before we go to break, because that was Johnny. Let's go to Rich in Wilkins Township. Hey, Rich, how you doing?
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me on. I got a question for you. Who do you think is going to get Kent McCauley's job?
Oh, man, I haven't even given that some thought. Number one, I'm glad that Teak has decided to do what he wants to do. He deserves to have free time with his family. He's been great in that role, and he's just a wonderful man. If you ever got a chance to meet, hopefully you did. Could be Sean Casey. Who knows? I haven't even given that much thought. But Sean Casey's a guy who has pretty good knowledge of what's going on, and he likes to talk, and that's what that role requires. We'll take a break here. JB, Harry, and Bruce all coming up next when we return right here on the Sports Call. It's the Bordas and Bordas Hotline.